Okay. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity given. My title is Environmental Humanities Exploring Human Animal Relationships. So, what are environmental humanities? As the definition goes, environmental humanities is an interdisciplinary field that blends the study of human culture, history, philosophy, and literature with environmental issues. It bridges the gap between the humanities, literature and philosophy, etc., and environmental studies. It usually explores how the environment is constructed and represented in relation to humans and how the divergent versions impact both knowledge and action. What are environmental humanities? The key areas of environmental humanities are environmental ethics, eco-criticism, animal studies, climate change literature, and indigenous knowledge. As the title goes, the key area is environmental ethics. It is a branch of philosophy that studies how humans should behave responsibly towards the natural environment. The next key area is the eco-criticism. It is a field of study that analyzes how natural world is portrayed in literature, typically in relation to modern environmental concerns. Animal study Animal studies is a recently recognized field in which animals are studied in a variety of cross disciplinary ways. Scholars who engage in animal studies may be formally trained in a number of diverse fields, including anthropology, psychology, ethology, and so on. Climate change literature. It is a literature that deals with climate change, generally speculative in nature but inspired by climate change, works of climate fiction that may take place. And indigenous knowledge is about how, through word of mouth, it has been passed from generation to generation. Why environmental humanities matter. The key points under why environmental humanities matter are holistic approach, cultural influence, and critical reflection. Holistic approach integrates the cultural, ethical, and ecological perspectives to address the environmental crisis, including the ecological perspective. Cultural influence explores how human cultures have shaped and are shaped by the natural world. Critical reflection encourages the deeper reflection on how human behavior towards nature, animals, and ecosystems. So, interdisciplinary nature of environmental humanities. The core disciplines of environmental humanities are literature, philosophy, history, anthropology, sociology, and art and media. Eco-criticism is a upcoming criticism. It has been developed in the year 1970s, and its studies about environment includes nature, writing, eco-fiction, and so on. Philosophical writings, it includes environmental ethics, moral questions regarding human interactions with nature, and the history are exploration of environmental change, historical human impacts, and ecosystems. Anthropology and sociology is a study of human environment, interacts across cultures, and the art and media also plays a very important role in focusing the life of animals and the environment through visual medias like films, music, and so on. So, early starting from the portrayal of animals in literature, it has started from the oral tradition. Animals in literature play a very important role in written language. Before the existence of the written language, people narrated stories through oral tradition using symbolic representations. As of fables composed during a 6th century BC was a best example for moral didacticism. It tells that human beings should learn human moral values from animals. The 18th century poet like William Blake, uh, he gave a very great importance and were a great impression of his childhood memories. The poet, has focused so many writings on animals. He wrote a poem.
Rini ma'am, little bit slow because the listeners are expecting that little bit slow.
Okay, ma'am. William Blake wrote poems on uh, poems passion for a passion for nature and beauty. The next, his theme was not only about people but also about nature and all things within it. William Blake, the next person, the same person, William Blake, he has written two volumes that is called Songs of Innocence, that was published in the year 1789, and Songs of Experience was published in 1784. Uh, contains some of the most unforgettable experiences of poems in English language. Uh, in the poem Tiger, the tiger represents majesty and the power of God's creation. The next, the poem Lamb. The lamb was innocent and vulnerable and harmless. It was a representation of the good. So this is how the portrayal of animals in literature in the early tradition, it had started from the oral, through oral narration. And it passed it down from generation to generation, and then it came to the form of writing. So our person Lord Byron, uh, he was fond of so many animals, and he had 10 horses, 8 enormous dogs, and 3 monkeys, 5 cats, an eagle, a crow, a falcon, a 5 peacock, 2 guinea hens, and an Egyptian king. He kept so many animals with him. In a letter to a person named Francis Hodgson, he wrote lines that I have got 2 monkeys and a fox and 2 mastiffs. So, mute is still in high old age. The monkeys are charming. This line tells us how Lord Byron was so affectionate to animals. And when Lord Byron was studying in Cambridge University, there was a rule that the inmates were not allowed to have any pets with them. So, what the dogs were banned to enter the university campus during when he was studying in Cambridge University. So Lord Byron tamed a bear and kept it with him, and this shows how he was affectionate towards animals and how he had kept so many animals with him. The next person here, the poet Ted Hughes. Uh, He's a 20th century poet, wrote many poems exclusively on animals. For example, The Thought Fox was written in the year 1973, and the poem Hawk Roosting was written in the year 1960, were well known examples of Ted Hughes' writings. Crow's existence in his poems was also to be the central importance of knowledge of good and evil. So our contemporary writers of animal fiction are William Bruce. Some of the animal fiction of the contemporary writers are William Bruce Cameron, Sarah Gruen, and Gartstein. They are published. Dog's Purpose is one of the famous work by Bruce Cameron, and Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen is also a famous work by Sarah Gruen, and Gartstein's The Racing in the Rain, My Life as a Dog, talks about the relationship between the dog owner and the dog named Enzo. So these three books are good for example for animal fiction. So I'm going on with definition of eco-criticism. The term eco-criticism was coined by William Rocket in the year 1978. Gladfelter defines eco-criticism as the study of the relationship between literature and physical environment. Eco-criticism takes an earth-centered approach to literary studies. It gives importance to harmonious existence of the protagonist with his or her environment. The book I have chosen is The One and Only Ivan reveals the readers that animals deserve a safe place to live and human beings need to treat animals with concern. So I'm going to discuss the book The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. This book comes under children's literature, the number one selling children's literature book in America. This book was written by a writer named Catherine Applegate. She was born on October 1972 in Michigan, USA. She has written so many books, nearly 150 books for children and young adults. Um, th- Her book, Animorph series, was sold over 35 million copies worldwide. Some of her notable works are The Buffalo Storm, Home of the Brave, Roscoe Really Rules, Remnant series. And she has won so many awards like SCBWI Golden Kite Award in 2008 for the book Home of the Brave, and she has also received the Joseph Frank Award in 2008 for the Bank Street. Medals she has won are Christopher Medal, SCBWI, Crystal Kite Award, Newbery Medal in 2013 for the novel The One and Only Ivan. So the novel The One and Only Ivan is an inspiration. It lies upon a true story. A gorilla named Ivan, who has spent nearly 27 years in a B&I shopping mall at Tacoma, Washington. So Applegate was inspired by reading an article entitled "A Gorilla Sulks in a Mall and His Future is Debated," dated October 17, 1993 in the New York Times. So after reading this article, Catherine Applegate got inspired. How come a gorilla who has spent nearly 27 years in a small, tiny cage? So this made her to write this novel, The One and Only Ivan. The One and Only Ivan is about a silverback gorilla was imprisoned in a tiny cage for 27 years. It was published in the year February 2012. So, the summary of the novel is: The One and Only Ivan tells the remarkable true story of Ivan, a gorilla kept in captivity at a shopping mall. This heartwarming tale explores friendship, freedom, and the power of hope, reminding readers of the beauty of compassion and the importance of standing up for what is right. Ivan, the silverback gorilla, was placed in a cage for 27 years in a circus mall named Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. Ivan's best friends are Stella, the elder elephant, Bob, the stray dog, Ruby, a baby elephant, and Julia, the janitor's daughter. When Stella, the elder elephant, died, she requested Ivan to save Ruby from the circus mall and to find a better place to live. So, Ivan's special talent was creating a Ivan's special talent was creating a art. So through his art, he saved Ruby out of the big top mall. Ivan created a picture of Ruby happily at a zoo, and it was given the title Home. Ivan gave the picture to Julia and George, the janitor, and they placed it on the mall's billboard. People protested against the living condition of Ivan and Ruby, where they spent in a small, tiny cage. At the end, Ivan and Ruby were moved to a zoo. Art literally saved the life of Ivan and Ruby. So, this is the real gorilla who has spent 27 years in a cage. So, the book begins with the title, the lines. The book begins with a simple introduction. Hello, I'm Ivan. I'm a gorilla. It's not easy as it looks. Applegate 9. So, it is not easy for a 400-pound creature in captivity. Initially, Ivan was captured from the jungle along with his twin sister, and during their transportation, Ivan's sister died, and Ivan was made to be in the imprisonment for nearly 27 years. The death of Ivan's parents happened in the jungle. The traders, the poachers, who literally murdered Ivan's parents in the jungle, and then they captured Ivan and his twin sister. And it is said that the gorilla's bones are made for gorilla's bones are used for making ashtrays. And Ivan was sad because of his captivity. This is the real image of Ivan and his twin sister captured, captured and kept with a real person who has spent, where Ivan has spent nearly 27 years with the owner. So the next important character in the novel is Stella, the elder elephant. The same like Ivan and his friends, they have spent their lifetime in a circus mall where Mac is the owner. He can under the control of Mac, Stella, Ivan, Bob. They spent their life. So here, Stella, the elder elephant, she was also captured by the traders, and the Stella was sold to Mac, the owner of Big Top Mall. When Stella was young, she's described by Ivan as circling Stella's legs are long ago scars from the chains she wore as a youth, her bracelets, she calls them. So she was sold to the Mac, the owner of the circus mall. So Stella, she was made to perform 24 hours in a day, giving only a little bit of break in between. All the time during only the performance, she was released from the chains, and only the performance during the performance she was released from the chains. All other time she was actually chained. Uh, under the max control. When one day, when Stella was performing a balancing stunt in the circus, she fell down and her leg was injured. But the owner Mac did not give the proper care to Stella when her foot was injured. So it shows that eco criticism, actually animals are captured from the wild itself, is a eco criticism, and then torturing them is the other one. That two animals performing in the circus, they really spend tough time in the circus performance. So the next important character in the novel, the one and only Ivan, is the baby elephant named Ruby. She was also captured from the wildlife, where they were sold to Mac, the owner of the mall. So death of Ruby's parents, they brutally killed the Ruby's parents, and she was captured from the jungle. And she was always chained at a circus. As a baby elephant, she didn't know how to perform in the circus. Mac, the owner, he always trains the Ruby. Initially, the baby elephant Ruby did not perform well day by day. Instructions were given to her to follow Mac's instruction. So it was really a tough time for the baby elephant named Ruby. So Ivan describes this incident as Ruby at Mac's circus. Ruby's feet are looped with rope as she cannot run. A heavy chain hangs off her back. All the time there's a chain around her neck and in her legs. So when Ruby did not perform the trick, Mac kicked Ruby and he literally punished Ruby for not doing the performance. So claw stick is the tool that has been used to train the animals in the circus. So Ruby was trained with the claw stick to perform the tricks in the circus. So next, the end of Stella, the character Stella comes to a close, that she died because of lack of proper treatment, because the Mac, the owner, did not give proper treatment to Stella, because she suffered from foot injury, and later at later stage of her life she died. So Stella's dying wish was to save Ruby out of the circus mall. So Ivan, the gorilla, the central character of the novel, the one and only Ivan, Ivan promised to save Stella. Ivan promised to save Ruby from the circus mall. So that was Stella's dying wish, and Ivan promised to Stella that he will definitely save Ruby out of the circus mall. So look at the condition of the Mac, the owner of the Big Top Mall. The personality of Mac is he's generally a good person, but he has got some negative traits, including uh, he's the owner of the Big Top Mall and its animals, including Ivan the gorilla, and he works as a part-time circus clown. People usually working in the circus clown are not paid well. He also acts as a part-time circus clown, and he needs a lot of income. He gets a lot of income from the animals, and the animals are not given proper treatment once he gains the money out of animals in the circus. So the financial troubles also made Mac to become a very worst and bad person for not treating the animals well, because he got only low income out of circus, and he was unaffordable to give food and things for the animals in the circus mall. So whenever Mac, the owner of the Big Top Mall, is stressed, he used to drink alcohol, and he used to beat the animals in the novel. So this is something very sad, that the owner treats the animals very badly. So this is the picture of the real Ivan, gorilla, who has died at the age of 50. This is a real picture of Ivan, and still we have the statue of Ivan in Washington, D.C. A statue of Ivan is found in the Washington, D.C. And this is the picture before his death. And he was actually, before coming out of circus mall, he was released to stay in a sanctuary. So Ivan, the real hero, real hero has got the real talent. He is known for painting. Only painting saved the elephants from the circus. So Ivan's artwork When Ivan drew a picture telling home, telling information to the janitor's daughter, Julia. So the janitor's daughter did not understand the picture of Ivan. The picture actually portrayed that they want freedom. They want freedom and they really want to escape from the circus mall. So Ivan was born as a silverback gorilla, but all the 27 years he did not seem to be a silverback gorilla. The specialty of silverback gorilla is to chest beating is the specialty of the silverback gorilla. But all these years he has never got that chest beating. Only when he wants to convey the information that uh, he wants freedom, he started beating his chest and conveying the information through his art. The epigraph of one and only Ivan is, "It is never too late to be what you might have been." That is the epigraph of the uh, novel, The One and Only Ivan. So, according to that, finally they find a place to be there in the out of the circus. So, these are the some real paintings of Ivan the gorilla. um, it's how Ivan was at the age of 50, and the picture, the second picture, is like duck. The second picture shows that it is a duck, the picture of a duck, and the first image how Ivan used to paint and conveys the information. So this gorilla is something that is very special, who has got a special talent of drawing, painting. So uh, the animals always they deserve a safe place to live. The natural habitat, eating fruits, sleeping on the grass is really what they wanted. Animals are not for performing in the circus. They really need a wildlife where they can rest and enjoy, be with their own community. Human beings are responsible for killing animals for their valuables. As we saw, gorillas' bones are used for making ashtrays. Not only ashtrays, even the elephant's trunk are used for making valuable things. Animals really are they are lovable creatures. They show unconditional love towards their caretakers. They are really inseparable from their own environment. So we look at the life of, in general, we look at the life of gorillas' life. Gorillas are the largest primates and are described by the following characteristics. Imagine adult male gorillas can weigh up to 200 kg and they stand 1.2 and 1.7 meters tall, while females are about half the size. Our gorilla is a male gorilla, is a silverback gorilla. Imagine the life of a gorilla spending so much of years in a tiny cage. When Ivan was a small gorilla, he was really adored by Mac and his family. When after when he grows up stage by stage, he was so big and he was not able to accommodate in their house. So that's the stage they put Ivan in a circus mall. So when he was a baby, he was completely adored by his own parents, Mac and his family. And gorillas have broad chest, shoulders, large hands, and small eyes set into hairless faces. They have black skin and hair except for their faces, hands, and feet. Our Ivan, the silverback gorilla, was able to do the beating action uh, only after so many years that he uh, come to know that's a real quality of the silverback gorilla. He has gained that, he has attained that only after growing so big in order to save a baby elephant named Ruby from the circus mall. So adult male gorillas have a prominent crest on their skulls and a saddle of gray or silver hair on their lower backs. Gorillas live in tropical forests in Central and East Africa. They are not uh, they are not uh, they cannot adapt themselves in a human environment. Gorillas are primarily herbivores, eating leaves, stems, barks, roots, flowers, fruit, and small invertebrates. They communicate using visual, auditory, and odor signals. They are generally quiet but can also scream, bark, and roar. These are the qualities, these are the functions that the gorillas can do. Even when the gorillas are in danger, the thing that they do is the chest beating. Chest beating is the communication that it tells that it really wants to convey some information. So in the jungle, when chest beating is done, they come to know that we are in danger. So that's the communication that the male gorilla uh, silverback gorilla communicates to its family. Gorillas are a well developed social structure and they exhibit behaviors and emotions similarly to humans, such as laughter and sadness. In the wild, gorillas live up to 30 to 50 years, but they live up to 50s in human care. So, human care in the sense in the sanctuary in the jungle under the care of the janitors, not in the circus. Gorillas face threats from habitat destruction, disease, and poaching. This can be seen that when Ivan was so young, the murderers, the traders, the poachers, they literally murdered Ivan's parents, Silverback Gorilla, and and his wife in the jungle, and they captured Ivan and his twin sister. The twin sister named is not Tag. So the main aim is to protect our main aim, the human being's main aim is to protect species and to maintain a network the system ecosystem between different species. To promote the survival of endangered species, many natural parks and sanctuaries provide natural habitats to endangered animals to breed. There are actually four primates in the world. First one is gorillas, second one is bonobos, third is orangutans, and the one more thing is chimpanzees. All these are four major primates. All four major primates are in endangered, looking especially the chimpanzees and the gorillas are. So, wildlife conservation also ensures the protection of natural habitats from the pollution and other human activities. Wildlife sanctuaries are the best nature reserve for the animals. So, the wildlife protection is essential and it's important to protect the rare and the endangered animal species. So the future of wildlife is in our hands. We are responsible for taking care of the animals, but what we do is we only try to kill the animals in the wildlife. That is what we really try to do, and we capture animals from the wildlife, and those animals are really used for human entertainment in the name of circus. So wildlife conservation is very important. There is no life without animals. Wildlife conservation, no life without animals is something to be noted down. Animals are in their natural habitat and they are free to roam and exercise without being confined to a stage. These all the characters in the novel One and Only Ivan are very much tortured. They have undergone much behavioral differences as a kid, as in the adolescent stage, and in the later part of their life. As Stella was chained, Ruby was chained, uh, Ivan was caged. Ivan was caged, confined in a tiny cage. So many plants and animal species are endangered due to our human habitats and needs. We are responsible for destroying them, but instead we need to take care of the animals. Biodiversity is the rich diversity of habitats, ecosystems, and species on Earth whose numbers are decreasing due to human activities. So sanctuary is a good place for the animals to live in. Animals are made to be there in their own natural environment. So it's a symbol of protection and security for bonobos, not only for bonobos, for all other animals. So as I told you earlier, these four primates are very important primates. Chimpanzees and orangutans chimpanzees, orangutans, and gorillas are really facing extinction. Sanctuary is a place of comfort for the animals who are injured by the human beings. So, abuse towards animals. Animals suffer from health problems such as arthritis. Elephants develop arthritis, foot and joint problems due to lack of exercise because they are not free to roam as in the outside environment. They are always confined in a cage. So some of the behavioral changes noted down are the captive animals show neurotic, repetitive behavior such as rocking forward and backward, head bobbing, biting the bars. These are the common symptoms that are found, especially rocking forward and backward are found in gorillas, the primates, because they really have a very tough time uh, being inside the cage on 24 into 7. So head bobbing, biting the bars, they really develop some repetitive behavior like biting the bars, which shows that the animals are not in normal condition. Violence and physical abuse are done to animals while training the animals. We see the example as Mac, how he trains the animals using the claw stick. It is a claw stick is a tool that is a very powerful tool that makes the animals to perform, because once when he uses the claw stick, the animals are really suffered. So after suffering, after so much of suffering, the animals really tend to perform in the circus. Why? Because they couldn't tolerate the pain. They couldn't tolerate the pain of the claw stick. So the behavior of the animals change. First they are so adamant not in not doing the performances and not doing the tricks. So once when the animals are forced to take up that pain, they change themselves completely and do the tricks. The public shows want the animals to perform the unnatural tricks. But what do we see in the circus? Children enjoy being in the circus because animals to perform in the circus, but the natural truth is not. They, after undergoing a lot of pressures and tortures and torments, they stand in front of the audience and try to put a in front of the audience. So elephants are poked in the sensitive areas like behind the ears on their legs to make an elephant to walk in a particular direction. The animals lead a life in confinement, physical abuse, and psychological torment. All the characters in the novel, the one and only Ivan, undergoes all these things. Worldwide, animals are forced to perform unnatural tricks to entertain the audience. They are often made to perform stunts that are against their nature. Imagine an uh, elephant is playing a cricket. Occurring here, the elephant should focus on the ball, in which direction the ball comes in, and the elephant does that play. Imagine how an elephant can do that, how a lion can do some of the exercises, some of the tricks in the circus. So bull hook is also a sharp pointed hook is used for controlling the animals in the circus. That was done by Mac in our novel The One and Only Ivan. So claw stick was used to train animals. It is a weapon more than a tool. It is a symbol of torture and abuse. These are the weapons that are used for training the animals in the circus. So animals in the entertainment industry are fun for children, but the truth is animals are really, really suffered. Cruelty to animals seem to occur worldwide. So it is in our hands to stop that. It is in our hands to reduce them. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen is also a good example for animal cruelty in the circus. Animals in circus and zoos should not use animals to entertain the audience. Watching wild animals perform unnatural tricks does not teach children to respect or to appreciate animals. Circuses teach children that it is acceptable to exploit and mistreat animals for amusement. So, bringing children to the circuses should be really avoided in future days, because what children think is that it's like mere fun for them to go to circus and watch the animals performing in the circus, but that is not true for the animals. They are not enjoying themselves on the stage. So this slide clearly tells us that the animals are chained 24 hours in a day and they do not get enough food and water. God has created both humans and animals to enjoy life, and how the responsibility that humans in giving to the animals is that is something very different. God created animals as a gift for the necessities of life, not for man's abuse. It is not nice to keep animals locked in a cage. Kindness and affection for animals are closely related to a person and are good character. So, pets you love unconditionally and without any expectations. Pets love us unconditionally. So, they do not care if we are thin or fat, rich or poor, black or white. Animals are animals. They love humans unconditionally. So again, we see that they feel emptiness and find meaning and purpose in life. Having pets at home, animals also help us in finding a meaning and purpose in life. And the chimpanzees are very, very aggressive. I really do not know how this Ivan has really spent so much of years in a tiny cage. And when we see when we read the book, the pages of Ivan, it's really interesting that it brings down the tears in our eyes, how this Ivan, the real gorilla, spent so much of time in that place. So the chimpanzee is also as an example which results in serious injuries or death of an animal. So it is found that chimpanzees abducted human babies and they have consumed it. So see the behavior of the aggressive behavior of the chimpanzees, that they have abducted human beings in that stage. So they are very, very aggressive. So having captive chimpanzees in United States have recorded that is leading to the victim, death of the victim. So the wounds also caused by the chimpanzees are so severe they were deformed beyond recognition. So that's the thing. In return, what they do is when we have them in the captivity, definitely the ultimate result is also something that is different. So Immanuel Kant says, "He who is cruel to animals becomes hard also in his dealings with men." We can judge the heart of a person by his treatment of animals. They deserve a safe place to live. Eating fruit, sleeping on the grass is what they want. They are not made to perform in the circus. And imagine a life for animals in the jungle. So, how they are meant to be there free and enjoying their own life in the jungle. So, they are not made to be in our own captivity. So, the definitely that's the ultimate aim of the day, ultimate result of the day. Human beings are responsible for killing for animals for their valuables. They are really lovable creatures. They're inseparable from their own environment. And the literature uses domestic animals and wild animals to reflect social values and morals. So this picture clearly imagines that how elephants are cared adored and things like that. But in our novel, the one and only Ivan, the elephants and the gorillas are really tortured. The torment that they went was something great. So that's the result that then later part of the novel, that Ivan and his friends were saved from the circus mall, and then they were meant to be in the place where they meant to be in the jungle. So thank you. I'm My presentation's got over.